Good evening, beautiful souls. I want you to pause for a moment and think about the last time you experienced heartache. That heavy, almost suffocating feeling of loss that creeps into every part of your being, making you question who you are, what went wrong, and whether you'll ever heal. We've all been there. And I know right now, many of you might feel like the pain is all consuming, that the breakup you're navigating feels like it's defining your entire life. But I'm here to tell you that there is light on the other side. There is peace. And more importantly, there is you, the person you may have forgotten in the chaos of it all. Tonight, I want to walk with you through a journey from pain to peace. A journey where you learn not only to heal, but to rediscover the strength that was always inside of you. You are more than the heartbreak. You are more than the scars left behind. And it's time to reclaim your power, your peace, and most importantly, your purpose. So let's talk about how you can rise from this and find yourself again. The journey through a breakup is one of the most emotionally intense experiences we can face in life. It feels as though the world is crumbling beneath our feet, and no matter how hard we try, the pain seems to persist. What many of us do in these moments is try to suppress the pain, to ignore it, or even deny it. We think, I'll just power through this. I'll distract myself, and eventually I'll be fine. But here's the truth. Healing cannot begin until we fully acknowledge and embrace the pain that we're feeling. In fact, the act of embracing pain is the very first step toward true healing. It's easy to believe that pain is something we should avoid, something that we should push away as quickly as possible. Society often tells us that we need to be strong and resilient, that we need to get over it quickly. We see people who move on seemingly effortlessly, and we wonder why it's taking us so long. But let me tell you, pain isn't something to be ashamed of, and it isn't something to bypass. Pain is a powerful teacher. When we allow ourselves to fully experience pain, we begin to understand its depths. Pain has a way of forcing us to confront the parts of ourselves we may have neglected or overlooked. It strips us of any illusions we might have had about ourselves or the relationship we were in. It makes us face truths that we would otherwise avoid, and yes, that can be uncomfortable. But in this discomfort, there is growth. Too often we get caught up in the idea that feeling pain means we're weak or that we should be over it faster than we are. The truth is, we're human. And as humans, we experience emotions deeply. Heartbreak is no different. When we feel a loss, whether of love, of trust, or of future plans, we are grieving the life we thought we were going to have. This grief is natural, it is human, and it deserves to be honored. It's essential to give yourself permission to grieve the way you need to. What often happens when we deny our emotions is that we push them down so deeply that they start to manifest in other ways. We might become irritable, anxious, or depressed. We may even feel disconnected from the world around us. Denying our pain doesn't make it go away. It only prolongs the healing process. In order to feel, we have to allow ourselves to feel the full range of emotions that come with a breakup. The sadness, the anger, the confusion, and the fear. All of it is a part of the healing journey. The process of embracing pain doesn't mean wallowing in it or staying in it indefinitely. It simply means allowing yourself to feel it fully without judgment. It's important to give yourself the grace to cry when you need to cry, to scream if you need to scream, or even to sit in silence if that's what feels right. These are all valid responses to pain. When we deny ourselves the space to express our emotions, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to release them. This doesn't mean that we should live in our pain forever. The purpose of embracing the pain is not to dwell in it, but to acknowledge it, to honor it, and to move through it. You see, there is a great power in allowing yourself to feel. The very act of feeling your emotions with full awareness helps you regain control over them. When you face your pain head-on, you stop letting it control you. Instead, you begin to take charge of your own emotional journey. We also need to understand that the pain we feel isn't just about the breakup. It's about everything that comes with it. A breakup often brings up old wounds and unresolved emotions. It can trigger fears, insecurities, and doubts that we may have buried deep inside of us. And when these things resurface, they feel magnified by the situation. But these feelings are part of a larger process of healing. When we allow ourselves to sit with the pain, we are also giving ourselves the opportunity to heal old wounds and work through unresolved emotions. Now, embracing pain doesn't mean that we should stay in a place of suffering indefinitely. In fact, staying stuck in pain for too long can prevent us from moving forward. But the key is to give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling without rushing the process. Healing isn't linear. Some days will feel better than others, and that's okay. On some days, the pain might feel overwhelming, while on other days, you might feel like you've made great strides in your healing. Another crucial aspect of embracing pain is recognizing that it is temporary. We often think that the pain will never end, that we will be trapped in this heartache forever. But just like any storm, pain eventually subsides. It may take time and the process may not be easy, but if we allow ourselves to go through it fully, we will find ourselves on the other side. There is life after heartbreak. There is healing after pain. The key to embracing pain is also understanding that it's a part of the human experience. Everyone goes through it at some point in their lives. It's easy to feel like you're the only one going through it, like no one else can understand what you're feeling. But the truth is, pain connects us all. It's through our pain that we become more compassionate and empathetic toward others. When you allow yourself to experience the depth of your pain, you also open yourself to understanding others who are going through similar struggles. Finally, embracing pain means that you are honoring your own journey. No one can tell you how to grieve or how to heal. This is your process, your story, and it deserves to be respected. When you embrace your pain, you give yourself the gift of self-compassion. You allow yourself to be human, to feel, and to grow through the experience. And in doing so, you pave the way for healing to take place. It's okay to feel the pain. It's okay to cry, to hurt, and to mourn the loss of something that was once meaningful. What matters is that you allow yourself to move through it, not by pushing it away, but by embracing it fully. Through this process, you will find that the pain you once feared becomes the catalyst for your personal transformation. The pain will pass, and with it, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the person you are meant to be. When we go through a breakup, we often find ourselves in a state of emotional chaos, struggling to understand who we are without the person who once played such a significant role in our lives. The person we were when we were in the relationship, the person we identified as, suddenly feels distant, unrecognizable, or even lost. It's easy to feel as though we've lost a part of ourselves, our identity, our sense of purpose, and our place in the world. The relationship defined us in many ways, and without it, we might wonder, who am I now? This moment of confusion and self-doubt can feel overwhelming, but it also holds the potential for something beautiful, the opportunity to rediscover ourselves. Rediscovering your identity after a breakup is not just about going back to who you were before the relationship, nor is it about defining yourself through another person. It's about reconnecting with the core of who you are, your passions, your dreams, your values, and the things that make you unique. It's about peeling back the layers that you may have built up over time to accommodate the relationship and remembering the person you were before it all, the person you may have lost sight of while trying to make someone else's needs and desires a priority. This process is not always easy, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it is essential to the healing journey. It is in this rediscovery that true growth and transformation begin. One of the first steps in rediscovering your identity is to take a step back and assess where you are. Often, in relationships, we find ourselves compromising aspects of our individuality in order to fit into the dynamics of the partnership. Perhaps you stopped pursuing a hobby because your partner wasn't interested in it. Or maybe you put aside your personal goals in favor of shared dreams. Now that the relationship has ended, there's an opportunity to reconnect with those things you once loved. Take the time to think about what truly brought you joy before the relationship. What were your passions? What made you feel alive and excited? Reconnect with these interests and begin to nurture them again. This doesn't mean you're turning away from the lessons you learned in the relationship, but rather you're honoring your own uniqueness. Rediscovering your identity also involves taking a good look at who you are outside of the context of the relationship. Relationships can often blur the lines between individuality and partnership. It's easy to lose sight of yourself when so much of your time, energy, and focus is placed on another person. It's important to separate yourself from the idea of being part of a couple and focus on who you are as an individual. Ask yourself questions like, what do I want for myself? What are my personal goals, independent of anyone else's vision? What makes me feel empowered and at peace? By answering these questions, you are essentially defining yourself anew based on your own desires and aspirations, not based on what you think others expect of you. Another key part of rediscovering your identity after a breakup is acknowledging and releasing any negative beliefs or self-doubt that may have formed during the relationship. Often, when we experience a breakup, we internalize negative messages about ourselves. We may believe that we were not good enough, that we didn't deserve love, or that we failed in some way. These beliefs can linger long after the relationship has ended, impacting the way we view ourselves and our worth. But the truth is, your value has never been tied to someone else's perception of you. Your worth is inherent, and the end of a relationship doesn't diminish who you are or the incredible qualities you possess. This is the time to break free from any limiting beliefs and begin to reframe your minds. Remind yourself of your strengths, your resilience, and the beautiful things that make you unique. By doing this, you create space for your true self to emerge, untouched by the negative narratives that may have clouded your perception during the relationship. It's also important to take time for self-reflection during this period. Use this time to understand more deeply why the relationship ended and what you've learned from it. The end of a relationship doesn't mean it was a failure, rather, it is an opportunity to reflect on what worked and what didn't. Take this time to evaluate how you showed up in the relationship and where you may have compromised too much of your authentic self. Reflecting on your past actions can help you uncover patterns or behaviors that you want to change moving forward. In doing so, you become more self-aware and start to form a clearer picture of who you are in the context of your personal growth. This self-reflection is a vital component of rediscovery because it allows you to move forward in a healthier, more empowered way. As you begin the process of rediscovering yourself, don't be afraid to experiment and try new things. Often after a breakup, there's a sense of freedom that can feel both exhilarating and intimidating. You may feel uncertain about your next steps, but this is actually a perfect time to explore new hobbies, new activities, or even new ways of thinking. Push yourself to step out of your comfort zone and embrace new experiences that will challenge and stretch you. This could mean learning a new skill, traveling to a new place, or reconnecting with old friends you may have drifted away from. These new experiences will not only expand your horizons, but will also help you learn more about who you are and what you truly enjoy. Another essential aspect of rediscovering your identity is building a strong support network. Often after a breakup, we isolate ourselves thinking that we need to handle everything alone. But the truth is, our connections with others are vital to our personal growth and healing. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who remind you of your worth, and who support you as you rediscover your authentic self. This could be close friends, family members, or even a therapist who can help guide you through this process. Having a strong support system ensures that you are not navigating this journey alone, and it reminds you that you are loved and valued regardless of your relationship status. Rediscovering your identity also requires self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on ourselves during this time, especially when we feel as though we've lost a piece of ourselves. But instead of judging yourself or blaming yourself for what happened in the relationship, treat yourself with kindness and patience. Understand that you are going through a process of transformation, and it's okay to take things one step at a time. Don't rush yourself into a new version of yourself. Allow the process to unfold naturally. Healing and rediscovery take time, and that's perfectly okay. Be gentle with yourself as you go through this journey, knowing that each day is a step toward reclaiming who you truly are. Ultimately, rediscovering your identity after a breakup is about finding your own sense of self-worth, reconnecting with the things that make you feel whole, and embracing your personal growth. It's about understanding that you are not defined by the relationship or the end of it, but by the strength, resilience, and beauty that already exist within you. This process of rediscovery is not just about returning to who you were, but about becoming the best version of yourself, stronger and more aligned with your true purpose. It is an opportunity to rebuild your life, your confidence, and your sense of self in a way that is deeply authentic and empowering. When we experience a breakup, it can feel like the world has come to a halt. Our sense of stability is shaken, and we may feel lost, unsure of who we are without the person we were once deeply connected to. The emotions that follow can be overwhelming: grief, anger, confusion, and even guilt. In those moments, it can seem like the pain is all-encompassing and that our future is uncertain. However, one of the most powerful and transformative aspects of overcoming a breakup is the opportunity it offers for growth. This painful chapter in our lives can be the very thing that propels us toward a future that's brighter, stronger, and more aligned with our true selves. The key is to shift our focus from the loss we've experienced to the potential for growth that lies ahead. Growth often emerges in the most unexpected places, and while the process might be uncomfortable or difficult at times, it's a vital part of our evolution. When we shift our focus from the pain to the possibility of growth, we begin to see that the end of one chapter isn't the end of our story. It's simply a new beginning. It's a chance to reassess, reevaluate, and redefine our goals, values, and aspirations. It's about looking beyond the past and embracing the future with open arms, knowing that we have the strength and resilience to build something even better. One of the first steps in shifting our focus to growth is recognizing that the end of a relationship does not define our worth. It's easy to internalize failure when a relationship ends, believing that we somehow weren't enough or that we didn't measure up. But the truth is, breakups are rarely about a person's worth. Relationships involve two people with different backgrounds, perspectives, and needs. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, the relationship simply doesn't work. This doesn't mean that we are unworthy of love or incapable of finding happiness. Rather, it means that we are being guided towards something that better aligns with who we are and what we truly need. By shifting our focus from the perceived failure of the relationship to the opportunity for personal growth, we allow ourselves to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. When we choose to focus on growth, we begin to see their experiences, both the good and the bad, are valuable lessons that shape us into the people we are meant to become. We may not always understand why things happen the way they do, but with time, we come to realize that everything serves a purpose. The pain we experience can teach us important lessons about who we are, what we value, and what we truly need in a partner. It can reveal areas of personal growth that we may not have seen before, such as the need to establish better boundaries, communicate more effectively, or practice self-love and self-respect. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, we begin to ask ourselves what we can learn from the experience and how we can apply those lessons to future relationships and aspects of our lives. This shift in perspective is essential to our growth because it empowers us to take control of our healing journey. Another key to shifting our focus to growth is developing a mindset of resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to grow stronger through challenges, and to keep moving forward even when things feel difficult. In the face of a breakup, it can be hard to imagine that we'll ever feel whole again, but the truth is that resilience is built through the very process of overcoming challenges. The more we embrace the discomfort and work through the pain, the stronger we become. Each day that we choose to move forward, even when it feels impossible, is a step toward healing and growth. This doesn't mean that we should rush the healing process or push ourselves to get over it faster than we're ready. Rather, it means that we acknowledge the pain, allow ourselves to feel it, and then consciously choose to rise above it, knowing that we have the strength to persevere. As we move through the pain and embrace growth, it's important to remember that growth isn't always linear. Some days we may feel empowered, excited about the future, and ready to take on the world. Other days we might feel overwhelmed by sadness, fear, or self-doubt. These ups and downs are a normal part of the healing process. Growth doesn't happen overnight, and it's not always a smooth path. But with each step, we are moving towards something better. The key is to be patient with ourselves, to honor the process, and to trust that every emotion, every experience is part of our transformation. A significant aspect of focusing on growth is taking the time to invest in ourselves. After a breakup, we often neglect our own needs as we process the emotional aftermath. It's easy to get caught up in trying to understand what went wrong or in seeking validation from others. However, the real work of healing and growth begins when we turn inward and focus on nourishing ourselves. This can take many forms: prioritizing self-care, setting new personal goals, or embarking on new adventures. Investing in ourselves means taking responsibility for our own happiness and fulfillment without relying on someone else to provide it. It's about finding joy in our own company, exploring new passions, and building a life that we truly love, independent of any relationship. An important part of personal growth is learning to embrace change. Change is an inevitable part of life, and it's especially prevalent after a breakup. The end of a relationship often forces us to reimagine our future, to adjust our expectations, and to redefine what we want from life. Embracing change means letting go of old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve us, and being open to new possibilities. Change can be intimidating, but it's also a powerful catalyst for growth. It opens up opportunities that we may never have considered before, such as the chance to pursue a new career, move to a new place, or develop new friendships. By welcoming change, we allow ourselves to evolve into a more authentic version of ourselves, one that is more aligned with our true desires and values. The process of focusing on growth also involves forgiveness, both for ourselves and for others. After a breakup, it's easy to harbor feelings of resentment or anger toward our ex-partner. We may blame them for the pain we're experiencing or feel betrayed by their actions. However, holding on to these negative emotions only keeps us stuck in the past and prevents us from moving forward. Forgiveness doesn't mean that we condone what happened or that we forget the pain. It means that we release the hold that these emotions have on us so that we can heal and grow. Forgiving ourselves is equally important. It's natural to question our own actions during the relationship, but we must recognize that we did the best we could with the knowledge and resources we had at the time. By practicing forgiveness, we free ourselves from the weight of guilt and shame, allowing ourselves to step into a future that is unburdened by the past. Finally, focusing on growth requires us to envision a future that is greater than our past. It's easy to get caught up in the memories of what was, longing for a time when everything felt secure and right. But as we focus on growth, we shift our attention to the future and the infinite possibilities that lie ahead. We begin to imagine a life that is filled with purpose, joy, and fulfillment. We set new goals, create new visions, and pursue new passion. This forward-thinking mindset helps us break free from the past and empowers us to take action toward the life we truly desire. It reminds us that we are not defined by what we've lost, but by the potential that lies ahead.